All right, and welcome back to another episode of Phrasing FM, a podcast where I talk about languages and my experience building an app to learn them. So, today I want to talk about an analogy that just popped into my head. And it is an analogy between spaced repetition and comprehensible input and traditional learning. And I think it's very accurate. To be honest, I haven't thought it through completely. We're going to find out if it holds up by the end of this episode. But if I publish this episode, then it definitely held up. But I'm feeling good about this. So let's talk about this analogy and see if it works. So I was trying to think about how I think about comprehensible input and how could you explain this to somebody not in the language learning space? How can I convey my feelings on this to somebody not steeped in all of the jargon of language learning? And the analogy that I came up with is that comprehensible input is like cardio, and spaced repetition is like going to the gym, and traditional learning is like a HIIT class. And so I'll go through each one of these individually because I think it makes a lot of sense. Cardio is something that everybody who wants to get into shape should be doing. It is objectively healthy for you. But a lot of people overdo it. And a lot of people not into fitness over-index on cardio. They think if they want to lose weight, they just have to run for 2 hours every single day and then they'll get in shape. And this is a terrible way to get in shape. I mean, not only is it incredibly taxing on you, it's going to take a very long time. It's not nearly as effective as you think it is. And you're way overdoing it. Like you could probably get by with 30 minutes of cardio twice a week and get most of the benefit from cardio. I say most. A more efficient way to get into shape would be to do some cardio, the 30 minutes twice a week, and then do some weightlifting 2 or 3 times a week. Because going to the gym is going to help you build muscle, which uses more calories, which will help you lose weight in turn. And going to the gym, lifting weights, has so many other benefits to it. So not only is it a faster way, but you will keep your gains longer. Because if you just run your way to lose a bunch of weight, one, you're going to look like a skeleton at the end. And two, as soon as you stop running a crazy amount, you're just going to bounce back. Like you want gains that last. And muscle lasts a really long time. It takes very little effort to maintain your muscle. And spaced repetition is the same thing. This is burning memories into your brain. You will never forget so much of the information you learn from spaced repetition. It takes very little effort to maintain. Once you've been using spaced repetition for a while, if you stop adding new cards, it's every single day you need to do less and less and less to remember everything you've learned. But, of course, a lot of people who go to the gym and lift weights never do cardio. And, that's not healthy. Like, it would be better and you'd have better gains if you did some cardio. And you just need to do like a little bit. And if you're working out hard and you do good cardio, you can make substantial progress. Now, I will admit the analogy breaks down a little bit here because once you get to a high level of a language, then I do believe you need a lot more comprehensible input. If you want to progress from B1 to B2 or B2 to C1, you need to be doing a lot more with the language than you're going to be able to do with flashcards. So I guess this would be like you want to become an athlete at this point. And if you want to be an athlete, you probably need more than 30 minutes of cardio twice a week. You're probably going to be doing cardio every single day, but you're still going to be hitting the gym. Every athlete goes to the gym and lifts weights. This is a core part of the routine, even if it's not the core skill. This is just something to train your body, to train your mind in this analogy, to save this information for later. I'm mixing up analogies here again. So comprehensible input is like cardio. You can just do a little bit of it, especially in the beginning, especially if you're just trying to get in shape, and spend more of your effort and time on spaced repetition, going to the gym. That's going to provide the longest term gains. At some point, once you're in shape, if you decide you want to become an athlete, you can lean heavier into cardio. You can start to do a lot more comprehensible input. It's not like your body is now built like a bodybuilder and you're never going to be able to be an athlete. As I mean, a lot of comprehensible input people will say, if you use flashcards, you ruined your language. You'll never be able to speak like a native. That's it. You should have learned it correctly. Um, that's not the case. If you go to the gym, if you get in shape, nobody's going to be like, oh, you have too much muscles. I don't think you can become an athlete. That's just not really how it works. And even if you did get a crazy bodybuilding physique, you could cross train and eventually become any hybrid athlete you want and perform fantastically at your sport. So, comprehensible input, cardio. So far, I'm liking that. It's holding up. Spaced repetition, going to the gym, lifting weights. So far, I'm liking that. It's holding up. So then what about traditional learning, like a course or a textbook or these guided apps like Babbel or I think Lingo Deer or Mango Languages? I know those are apps, but I just am trying to remember if they're guided courses. I know Mango Languages is. I know Mango Languages is. I'm not sure about Lingo Deer. But I call these HIIT classes because they are exhausting. They are tedious. They are objectively good for your learning. They're good for your fitness. HIIT classes are great for fitness. You're going to go there. They're fantastic cardio. You're working out strength. You're doing a bunch of these things. But they're a really bad way to get in shape if you are not used to exercising. They are incredibly taxing on your body. They're very difficult to do. They're very difficult to recover from. And they're very difficult to progress long term. And they're very difficult to keep up with long term because they're so demanding, because they're so taxing. I don't know very many people who do HIIT classes who keep it up every single week for years. A lot of the people I know who love HIIT classes get in a rhythm for 2 or 3 months, and they'll go to HIIT classes every week, once or twice, maybe even 3 times. And then there are always several month-long periods where they don't go at all, or maybe they go once a month. It's just a very taxing, intensive, all-consuming manner of working out. And for HIIT classes, they're very hard to recover from. It's hard to track your progress because you're doing so many things. Are you getting stronger? Are you getting weaker? Or did you just do them faster today? Or are you just sweating more? Or, there's so many variables that it's really hard to measure and improve and be precise in them. Are you overworking certain muscle groups? Are you underworking certain muscle groups? Is it your strength that's the limiting factor? Is it your cardio that's the limiting factor? You don't really know. You're just kind of like throwing everything at the wall. And this isn't to disparage HIIT classes, but if you're trying to get in shape, I would not recommend HIIT classes. And traditional courses are a lot the same way. They're very taxing. They're hard to keep up. You'll do a course, then you might do the next course, but I don't know anybody who's been going to a weekly course for years and just constantly making progress. They're hard to track your progress because you're learning in this very unnatural way. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm not trying to disparage too much traditional courses, but it's very structured. It's not, I don't want to use the word organic because I use that to describe comprehensible input all the time. But somebody else has decided how this works, and you learn units, and you learn structures, and you learn themes, and it's very artificial. It's very constructed. And so it's very hard to measure your progress because are you remembering things? There's these chapters, you remember 80% of this chapter and 60% of this chapter. There isn't really review built into it. It's hard to keep it up long term. It's quite taxing. There's exercises, there's homework. A lot of people have to go to courses to go do them. There are levels to them. Then you graduate and then you run to the end of the course. And it all depends on finding the right course. Kind of like a HIIT class. It kind of depends on finding the right HIIT class. They can be terrible. They can be fantastic. And so in that way, traditional courses, they're great. Of course, everybody has done a traditional language learning course. I don't think it's the best way to learn the language. I think it's a perfectly viable way to learn a language. It's the way most people in the world who have actually learned a language started. A lot of fit people have done HIIT classes. They're just, they're the, I want to say they're the ugly duckling, but I don't think that works in this analogy. And I'm already butchering this analogy. But if you attend HIIT classes, if you keep up with them, if you can do them, will you get in shape? Absolutely. Will you get in the best shape in the least amount of effort? No, you're going to spend a lot of extra effort to get into shape. Where same thing with the traditional courses. You're going to put in a lot of extra effort that you probably didn't need to do to get to your language goals. And so, all right, I'm liking HIIT more. That was a little bit of a roundabout way to the analogy, but that's working for me. So HIIT classes, HIIT classes, like traditional classes and learning a language, they're like a sledgehammer, and it's not very precise. It's a lot of work. They're hard to keep up with. It really depends on the course. It really depends on the teacher. And they're just not efficient. You're just going to be doing a lot. They can be very tedious. They can be hard to recover from. And you're not really setting up like long-term healthy habits. Like the HIIT class it's good for your health, but it's not a realistic habit for most people to have. Nobody's going to wake up every single day and go to a HIIT class. I'm sure in the comments, every person who does do that is going to respond. But that's exceedingly rare. And this is coming from somebody who has been extremely into fitness for 15 years. I don't think I've ever met somebody who goes to HIIT classes every single day for years. It's not a sustainable long-term habit. And so you want to set up better, longer, sustainable habits. And if you want to go to a HIIT course, fantastic. That's great for you. If you want to take a language course, that's great. It's great for you. Do that. But also focus on setting up habits that will last a long term. So you can't run your way into being fit. And so you can't CI your way into speaking a language fluently. You can definitely, like, everybody should be doing some form of cardio. Everybody should be doing some form of input. If you want to get in shape, the best thing you can do is lift weights at least a bit. You don't have to go crazy with it. I'm going crazy with it. There are other people who go crazy with it. You can just do it casually. You do have to push yourself. It should be a little bit difficult, but go to the gym. Use spaced repetition. Do something to build your memory. And this isn't going to result in some corrupted physique where you're never going to then be able to become whatever athlete you want. No, if you decide at the end of this, you can speak the language a little bit. You're like, I really like this. I want to be fluent. I just released an episode about the different stages of fluency. So I think with flashcards, you can get to a rudimentary level of fluency. Maybe even a functional level of fluency with enough time, but I don't think it's the most efficient manner. But you can get to a rudimentary level of fluency just using flashcards, and a little bit of input here and there. It's good to hear it. Although, to be honest, I don't even use input for like the first year or two of learning a language. I'm learning so many languages that the timelines are very skewed. But I think if I was just learning one language, I probably wouldn't be using input for like the first 6 months to a year. Obviously, it depends on the language. Like in Spanish, there's tons of beginner content, like super beginner content. I think that's great if you can watch it. In Japanese, there's like a little bit of it. Chinese, there's some. French, there's some. But then, like, if you want to learn Maltese, there's not going to be beginner content for you. Maybe like 3 videos, or for a lot of languages, there are not beginner content. So I just don't worry about that. I just want to get to this rudimentary level of fluency. And then I'll start to find native content that I can use as CI. And I'll use a little bit of that. I'm not going to over-index on it. To be honest, I don't want to watch content for hours a day. If that's what it means to learn a language, like, I'm just not interested in learning a language. That's not something that interests me. I don't even like watching movies and TV shows in my own native language. I watch like an hour or 2 of anime a week, and that's like my limit of content consumption. So I'm at the moment, I'm trying to force myself to watch French YouTube. And I think I maybe get 10 minutes a day. Like, it's impressive how much I just don't enjoy this activity. I love speaking French. When I was in France, I went out, I spoke with people all night long. I'd have conversations. I would melt my brain. I would get home and I wouldn't know left from right because I'd just be using French so much. Like, I love that. That's fantastic. I love using a language. I love interacting with people in the language. I love the languages themselves. I don't just want to sit there in my own and watch a video that I don't completely understand. That just doesn't interest me as an activity. And I really, really, really don't believe it's necessary because I've learned several languages that I can communicate to levels that I'm satisfied with. Like, I want to improve them, obviously. They're not great, but if I could learn all my languages to these levels, I'd be very happy. And, I didn't do this by consuming a bunch of content. I did this by primarily spaced repetition and then just interacting with people. So anyways, I got off topic there, but that's my analogy. This is how you can explain comprehensible input, spaced repetition, and traditional courses to fitness people. So if they don't understand linguistic terms, but they understand fitness, you can explain this. And maybe if you have a language friend and you're trying to explain to them fitness, you can use this analogy to explain to them fitness. But my stance is comprehensible input is like cardio. Spaced repetition is like lifting weights, and traditional courses are like HIIT. If any of this agreed, first of all, please, if you got it this far, you have to let me know in the comments what you think about this, because I feel like this is such a crackpot theory. I know every YouTuber always says leave these things in the comments, but I have to know, is this genius or is this stupid? Or is it both? But if you like this video, consider liking, subscribing, sharing with any friends who like languages or maybe fitness, and you can convince them to get into languages. And if you like spaced repetition, if you want to hit the gym, I've been building an application now for 3 years to learn as many languages as you want. It's really optimized for learning multiple languages. It combines spaced repetition with language acquisition, so you can go even further with spaced repetition than ever before. It looks great. It's aesthetic. It's effective. It's simple. It's beautiful. I love it. I'm biased, but I still love it. So consider checking it out. Phrasing.app. It is a website, so you can use it on your computer or on your phone. You can bookmark it on your phone. It works just like a native application, works offline, everything, all that stuff. So thanks for listening, and tune in next time to Phrasing FM. Ciao.